Hey everyone, Genome here. Well, I went and did it yesterday. I recorded a bunch of videos, I think about 6 of them in total, and it was on the new Hearthstone expansion. Well, unbeknownst to me is that my microphone defaulted to mute. So basically, I recorded silent film for 6 videos. I blame this pop filter right here because it does cover up my little icon right there. Whoops. See, you try to improve your audio quality and you wind up screwing everything up. But, so I'm going to have to do some voiceovers on some of this, and that's probably about it. But anyway, what are you going to do? If this is the worst thing that happens to me, I've had a pretty good run this week, right? So I'm just going to sit back right now, drink a nice hot cup of Earl Grey, eat a wonderful piece of brioche, and just bask and bathe in the warm glow of utter civility. It's the little things in life, Anyway, please enjoy the show. Hey everyone, Genome here. Well, yeah, I went and did it. I got all excited about the new expansion coming out and didn't even realize that my microphone was muted for all of the new videos that I shot, including my pack openings and several games with new hipster decks that I put together. So yeah, you'll have to be regaled by my semi-lovely speaking voice and this voiceover. I didn't want to throw away at least this game. This was a really good one, so I'll try to kind of walk you through what I'm doing. Please ignore my mime down there in the bottom left. So let's see what we got going on. This is the Dragon Warrior that I put together. It's just a quickie. You'll see it on the deck tracker, so I'm going to go ahead and skip through this for now, so hold on tight.
Garrosh versus Garrosh!
Victory or death! Bring it on!
So the mulligan's a little bit difficult. I stuck a Dragon Slayer in this deck because I figured, well, with the advent of the new stuff, that there'll probably be a lot of Dragon Warriors out there. And while I did run into one later on, it really is kind of probably a really bad addition to the deck because you're forced to use the battle cry. So I didn't consider that when I first put it in the deck. So basically, if you have a dragon on board and the opponent doesn't, you gotta hit your own minion. So this card's definitely coming out of my deck very quickly. Now it may go into some other decks that I run, but yeah, it does not have a place in this deck at all. And I wound up queuing into an Odd Warrior for my first game. Always a treat. Alright, so we'll see how my hipster deck kind of lines up against a well-optimized deck. I won't ruin it too much for you, but it does turn out to be a pretty good game. And Super Collider once again, making its presence known. Such an amazing control card. Trying out the new Dragon Roar card. It's something, I tell you. And of course I threw Twilight Drakes in there because you can often have, fairly large hand sizes, and it's just something to play on turn 4. There wasn't a whole lot of other turn 4 plays for me, other than maybe Blood Razor, but that's not always a thing. So, and I did go over most of this with my deck creation part of the video, but since I didn't feel like explaining it again twice, I'll just let you extrapolate from there. The new and improved Worm Guard. I think that this card is going to be great in this deck, and it's going to be probably quite a bit better than Tarlord, which I also like that card a lot. I used to play it in my Taunt Warrior and a few other versions of Warrior. I think it's an underrated card. I mean, definitely not as good as Tar Creeper, but you know, not too many cards are. But I think Worm Guard in this deck is really, really good. Just the fact that it always has 4 attack instead of 1 attack on your turn. So it's got 1 less attack on the enemy's turn, but that's not really a huge deal. I'd say this card is pretty much equal to Ancient of War now in the old Druid shell. Heck, it may be considered better because it's got more health, so I don't know. But you can run 2 of them, just like, well, you could with War too. So it's a big taunt wall for any deck to deal with, really. Without hard removal, that is. Alright, pulled an early brawl out of him. And unfortunately, I got no way to heal any minions for the dragon on board, so.
Be gone!
And of course, I threw Dr. Boom in the deck, because why not, right? I actually technically thought about throwing Garrosh DK in there. The hero power will line up decently with a few of the cards, like the new, I can't remember the name, but I can't see it too well on the screen on this recording. But the one dragon, the 3/6 for 5 mana that does 1 damage to everything, basically the Ravaging Ghoul of dragons, and also combos up well with
Be gone!
Primordial Drake. It's Battle Cry, so you can get, you know, 2 and 3 damage AoEs fairly regularly. And plus, you know, the weapon is so good. But I think Dr. Boom is much better for the long game, so I threw it in there. I guess I could throw both in there, but you start throwing too many different hero powers and stuff in there, it gets a little bit asinine. Okay, so unfortunately for me, he had his Dr. Boom in hand as well. Now, being that he has Super Collider in hand, it really makes my plays awkward. Now here, I'm trying to kind of push out another brawl. But also, it protects pretty well against Super Glider as well. My big minion, so. And it worked against me, of course. 1 in 7 chance, and he got it, so. Get some pretty interesting minions here. I can't remember which play I make at this point. I do play the new 6-mana revert your both players' mana crystals back to 5 here pretty shortly, as I recall. And it has an effect on the game, so a pretty good one. Well, I'm not sure if it's really good, but it's entertaining. Anyway.
I will silence their screams.
Fun fact is I just crafted Baku for the Odd Mage deck, the Hero Power style deck. And actually it piloted fairly well for the 1 or 2 games that I played for it. Or with it, excuse me. And you'll notice in this deck that I'm not running such normal stalwarts as Shield Slam. I'm only running one Execute. I do have one of the new deal full damage warrior cards, or deal 4 damage to a damaged minion warrior cards, which usually functions like an Execute, to be honest with you. I mean, not too many minions have way more than, or that you see regularly, have way more than 4 health, so. So yeah, that's different about it. Only running one Super Collider, one Blood Razor, so it's a pretty light weapons package too. I did consider throwing Woe Cleaver into this deck, because there's a lot of heavy minions. But the problem is a lot of dragons have good battle cries. A lot of times that's what makes them good, so yeah, I didn't think it was such a good idea to play Woe Cleaver at that point. Alright, so I got one Shield Slam out of him, so should only have one more big piece of hard removal. So here I'm running up against kind of hand size issues, so I really don't want to play Ysera. And actually, in all honesty, Ysera may come out of this deck. It's sometimes just so difficult to play that card, and it doesn't really do enough if you think about it. I mean, other than maybe Awakens or sometimes Dream, there's not really a whole lot of good, really good cards, game-breaking cards that Ysera puts out there, so it just may not work. Lich King is, at least with this deck, Lich King lines up much better. So Ysera's probably gonna come out. I did stick Alexstrasza in this deck, kind of an old homage, but that has less to do with this deck's overall plan than it used to in like Control Warrior. Control Warrior in the old days used to run Grom, and so preemptively Alex the opponent and then Grom them down, hopefully the next turn. Well, that's not in this deck. Now I could add Grom for a bit of that old school flavor, but maybe in a later iteration. There's that new Devastate card. And you'll see highlighted the 2 lovely Shield Maiden, 1 mana less Shield Maidens in hand, with a tag, no less. But I will tell you this much: as good as Shield Maiden used to be in, you know, Goblins vs. Gnomes and all that back then, you know, the power level of decks was a lot lower, so these may not make the cut in the future. I mean, they're pretty good, but I've played a few games now with Dragon Warrior, most of them unsuccessful, and it really, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, honestly. So we may have gotten to the point in Hearthstone where Shield Maiden wouldn't be played anymore in like a Control Warrior deck, so. But it's still too early to tell. We'll see. If things slow down a bit. See, I ran into quite a bit of aggro, of course, on opening day. There was a lot of, how should we say, non-creative people. I think that's a very diplomatic way of saying tryhards. You know, just piloting Odd Rogue. I ran into a lot of Odd Rogue. It's like, you know, first day of expansion, first couple hours of expansion comes out. Everyone's experimenting. And you're playing a deck with absolutely no new cards in it. It's just so asinine. And it's kind of pathetic, really. But, yeah, what are you going to do? I know they do that on purpose so they can prey on the, you know, the people experimenting with new stuff and climb quickly. But it's like, at these ranks, just try something new. At least a little bit of ingenuity. But no, because of the strength of aggro, they just, there's no real reason not to, I guess. It just, I don't know. Annoying. So this is his, what, 2nd or 3rd Direhorn Hatchling he's played. And that definitely haunts me throughout this game.
Engaging TC-130, mental dislocator.
Hey, there's old Alexstrasza. But being that my mana, that's probably what I'm laughing about. You can't see it. I'm going to override it with this video, or this overlay. But yeah, I'm kind of laughing about it a little bit because I'd like to play Alexstrasza. Now's a great time to do it if I can, because I played that legendary minion that knocks our mana crystals down. So it kind of hurt my turns. Actually, I was hoping to slow him down, but it slowed me down. Maybe worse. And since he hasn't had to use any other charges of his Super Collider, it really makes my turns awkward of what I can play. So, see, right here is what I was talking about earlier, is where it got him, because he played his Omega Assembly right there. Not remembering he wasn't on 10 mana, now he was at 9 mana, so yeah, I guess I got kind of a win there, right? You only got one card instead of 3. So I'm getting down there. I've only got 6 cards left in the deck. But you do want to use his hero power when it comes up. It's just so valuable. This one I'm pretty sure I take Recycler, because Dynamatic is not too good against his deck. He's going to be stuffed full of mechs. And it's actually more likely to be detriment to me than, than to him. So. Figure go ahead and play this out now. It doesn't line up too well against, or his Super Collider doesn't line up too well against it, so figure what the heck. And I got plenty of other dragons in hand to hold for activators. But there's that card. He plays like 3 or 4 of those damn. Yeah, he just plays so many of those, I can't remember the name of it right now. Let's see some.
Just in time. Oh, I love that fuse thing.
Okay, Owl. Yeah, he surprised me with Owl on this deck. I was not counting on it. But it still leaves a big minion on board for him to deal with. I know I couldn't think of it. He plays like 4 Dynamanics this game, I think it is. I locked up. I couldn't think of the name of it. I'm looking at a real tiny screen here trying to do this this overdub, so. Don't want Alexstrasza here just because of his last charge of Super Collider, so. I believe I stuck some weapon hate in this deck after this game, just because of how at mercy I was to Super Collider, and I figured once again Warrior would be pretty popular right now, and Rogue because they got some new stuff. I ran into a lot of Shuffle Rogue. Oh my goodness, that deck looks ridiculously strong. That augmented Elec card is something. When they were putting double Faldoris in there, so you know, shuffling 6 spiders in for every Faldori, I played with that out there on the board. It was pretty crazy. They were actually doing shadow stepping the augmented Elec just to have it in their hand for 1 mana, so they could combo it up with Faldoris. So they didn't even need it anymore for the espionage. But then they could combo it because it was only at 1 mana. They could combo with technically both on turn 8 or turn 9 or earlier with prep. So when you throw at least one Faldori down with economic espionage with augmented Elec up, that's beyond ridiculous. I have a feeling that card's going to get tweaked. One of those cards is going to have to get tweaked a little bit for the future, because it kind of takes, I don't know, any control cards or control decks that can really beat that. You know, it's kind of like J Druid in the end. You know, you can't run it down on Steam. It's going to have 50+ cards in its deck.
This jungle hides many secrets.
Good old Oldie. She fits in so well with odd decks. I'm going to miss her when she goes.
Such a
And Zola. Yeah, this guy's playing a pretty cool version of Odd Warrior that I don't know too well. It's kind of a sustain Odd Warrior because you can shuffle some things in a deck between Dire Horns and Elise throwing the Angoro packs in there. I got the good hero power up again at least.
My jaws that bind.
Shadowwalk is wow. He does some damage here for all the Dynamatics he played. At least I had one card survive, right? So now I'm really getting down there. But he is running out of removal really quickly. So all I got to really dodge is, no one think. All I have to really dodge is bad Super Collider trades and hopefully call it a day. And I get a pretty bad mech here. Or a pretty bad selection of choices for mech. I had to play that out, which sucked, just so I wouldn't overdraw.
What we do.
I can't afford to get rid of my Omega Assembly, which is my last card. And there's those Dire Horns come back to haunt me. Now here's one of the choices that was really hard for me, and I may have screwed it up. But I wind up taking Rampage here, just because it trades so well on board with the Dire Horn. And leaves my minion intact. But at this point in the game, Omega Assembly is so good. It was very difficult. And then I realized, like, oh, he's still going to be alive, that Dire Horn. Whoops. So now I have to make some more decisions.
This would be a good time for a master plan. Oh, I love that fuse thing.
I go ahead and do a preparatory swing here, so I have the Blood Razor or Death Rattle intact just in case he doesn't use his microbots to kill my gem studded there. So, and lo and behold, he did have the other Super Glider. That makes sense. Got some pretty poor choices again here. Figure I'm just gonna make a big taunt. Try to get in the way because I think he's burned both his shield slings on that by now. So he should, in theory, have difficulties dealing with big minions singles at this time. But then here comes second owl. Whoops. And another matriarch. So that brutalizes me. I can't remember if that was the last straw. That was one of the last straws that broke my back on this game, was him having the other Dire Horn, with me having no answer for it. I just go for it on a brawl here. I probably should have played out the, even though I win this, I probably should have played out my Harvest Golem too, just to be safe, but... Here, I figured if he just hero powers my Golem, and then it doesn't super collide well. Basically, I'm trying to go all in on Alexing him at a surprise.
Engaging TC-130
After he has
until
nothing left.
dislocate her.
But then, well, you'll see. He doesn't run out of his cards as fast as I would like him to. And that card right there puts another card into his deck, so yeah, I have a lot of trouble here with getting him some, because really what the idea was to get him really start taking a few fatigue damages and surprising him with Alexstrasza, but yeah, you'll see. I'm not getting good cards from Omega Assembly.
Out of my jungle!
And then what's he do? He gets another dire horn. So yeah, that was the straw, as I recall, that really broke my back. I'm already fairly deep into fatigue. Can't remember. I think I play Lich King here. But it might have been better to play Dynamatic. I can't remember which I do. Lich King. I think it probably gives me a better chance. I think my rationale was that it would, it would just kill anything he throws on the board because he has no way of supposedly dealing with this right now. It's got a useless Lich King card. I was kind of hoping, I think, for Obliterate. But you can't expect King Mosh to happen. So, yeah. There's still a clear here.
Take that!
Has to deal with Diamatic, of course, but once again, putting another good card into his deck and just keeping him farther and farther from fatigue.
Light the fuses!
And I really couldn't afford to play my other Shredder card because once again, he's got Super Collider, so.
This jungle hides many.
And now he gets another pack. But at least he gets rid of that last charge, so. Now, those being 9 mana really hurts. But then I would just play some Microbots too to go with it, so. It's like, here I am, here's my chance, but yeah. We know what he hasn't decked yet still, so. There it is, the other Dire Horn. That stupid 1 mana. That's where it kills me that I didn't have the Microbots up. So anyway, that's game over, so I'd go ahead and give it to him here. There's no sense keeping going.
You're good. You're good.
There you have it. That was the first game with a newly created Dragon Warrior deck. I mean, despite losing and all, it was a really fun game, and it showed some good staying power. This was the best game I played with that deck for the night, but we'll see how it goes from there.